Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel and welcome if you are new. It's your girl Kay. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend because I'm the bomb. I already know this. Y'all just gotta catch up. There's been a lot going on, me trying to get these angles right, but I believe we are all good. Being short is not for the weak. I will just say that. And let's move on. So as you see by the title and the thumbnail, y'all, I will be talking about how God has been moving and shaking for me behind the scenes and how he's just been doing his big one and just working in my life, basically a life update. So as some of you may know, I am a nurse. For the past year, I have been working, or I was working remotely for a home health care company. And I was doing triage and kind of felt more like clerical work. But I did also, I was interacting with the patients remotely, triaging and things like that. It was what it was. I'll just say that much. So during my time there, the thing just moved and my cat decides to sit right on top of my ring light. Sorry about that, y'all. So the little shake was him. But back to my story. So, like I said, for the past year, I've been working remotely. In that time, though, I was excelling in my position. My supervisor at the time was amazing. She was like around my age. She was younger, and she was just awesome. I just loved her. When I first started, the director and my direct supervisor, they were just awesome. Like, I had no issues at all. Right, they were just amazing. They were very generous with their praises. They didn't hold back. They weren't micromanagers. If you needed anything, it was an open door policy. Obviously, we're remote, but it was more of an open door policy. I'm telling you, it was amazing. My supervisor really appreciated my work ethic and, how I just got things done, and my clinical judgment, my work ethic, all of that. So she, during our one-on-ones, that's what we would call them, she would be like, hey, I think it would be great if you were up here with us, if you were one of the supervisors or whatever. She was like, I'm not sure if we do have that position open, if for some reason we do need another supervisor, I'll definitely keep you in mind. And also, we would have those meetings and they would ask, what would you like to do going forward? What is your goal for the company? Those kind of meetings. And you tell them, hey, I think for now I kind of want to stay here, or my goal is to move throughout the company, kind of learn the ins and outs. And that was my goal. Anytime I get into a position, for the most part, unless it's like contract or something like that, or just like an agency type of contract, which is what I've done many times before, I don't look to move up into that position because there's no opportunities available. Sometimes when you're working for the agency, you are limited as far as where you can go because you're contracted, or the agency is contracted essentially. So of course, like for me personally, not of course for everyone, but for me personally, I always aim to keep it moving, move up, move up, move up, move up as much as possible. So of course, like that's what I want to do. And I was like, I'm open to learning new areas and training in new areas. So I'll have that many areas of expertise versus just the triaging and some of the customer service calls or whatever that come in. So a few months, I believe, before the position came, my supervisor, she called me, we were on the phone, we had one of our meetings, and she's like, hey, I just want to let you know, this is just between us. There's a position coming up. There's a supervisor position coming up, and I really feel like you would be great for it. I have talked to the director. So by this time, the director changed, right? By this time, the director changed. And it went from a female to a male. And this male was a little different. They don't really run off this director. Now, we don't really work directly with them, the director, because we more communicate with our direct supervisors. But of course, they're a part of, all of our processes. They would be leading the meetings and things like that. Okay, so it was a different dynamic with this director, I'll say. It was more like, now I'm not a talker, okay? Most of the time I'm not a talker anyway. If I have any questions, 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna ask who I'm comfortable with asking, and that was my direct supervisor, right? But during the meetings, I would notice that our new director was not really privy to asking if we had any questions or caring about if we did. If there were any questions I would notice, they'd be like, oh yeah, I did notice about that. I'll address that later or whatever. I'm not sure if it was addressed ever because I never really had any questions. For the most part, the things that were brought to us were self-explanatory. Okay, well, this is what you need to do. If you don't know how to do it, here is a manuscript on how you should do it. You know, everything was kind of in our portal system. I'm one of those people, I don't really like to ask too many questions unless I really, really, really just don't understand. Then I'll come to you, because 9 times out of 10, there are so many different ways to do something, or there's an answer somewhere. Sorry, my cat is just driving me nuts. But yeah, so 9 times out of 10, I feel like either there's a different way to do it, you just got to search around and try to find it, or there is a manual or step-by-step somewhere. Look through the notes. I don't know. I just feel like there's always a way to find it. And if for some reason you just cannot, then that's when you reach out to a supervisor, versus every little inconvenience. I have to reach out to my supervisor, and there were so many of those, and it just drove me nuts, but that's not what we're here for. So I did notice those little things, and I noticed the micromanaging kind of started. So anyway, this supervisor position comes up. My supervisor tells me that she's letting the director know, hey, I think Kay is amazing for this position. I want you to keep her at the very front of your mind. You know what I'm saying? Because she's awesome, right? So in all fairness, of course, so she let me know like weeks before this position came. She said it may be coming in a few months, but it actually happened in a few weeks because one of their supervisors was stepping down, okay? So, well, at least that was the plan, we thought. So one of the supervisors was stepping down. So she lets me know, hey, I'm just letting you know, this is coming up, okay? This is coming up, girl. Be ready, be prepared, because it's basically yours, or I want it to be yours, okay? So she comes back and she's like, hey, so I let our director know that we want you first, but he said we just have to put it out to everybody. We just have to put it out to everyone just to kind of see how that's gonna work. Okay, just to be fair. And I was like, oh, that's totally fine. I understand. I was still freaking out. I wasn't taking it as, oh, this is mine. This is already mine, because I am like a skeptic of everyone and everything. And I just never like, I can hear you. I hear what you're saying. And I'm not going to say that someone's a liar or anything, but I'm going to say that God works in mysterious ways and everything doesn't pan out how you think it will. We'll just stop there. We'll just say it like that. An email came out to our center and they're just letting us all know, hey, this is coming up. If you want to apply, you can. Customer service and clinical, because we're comprised of customer service and clinical team members. So our nurses and then our regular customer service reps. So, you know, everyone started applying, you know, whoever wanted to apply or wanted to be interviewed, you just had to let your supervisor know. They'll put you in a slot, and then they sent you like a survey to kind of figure out your management style, how you operate, things of that nature. So I completed that, sent my resume and everything. I had my interview, and before my interview, I was like nervous. I called my supervisor, I'm just nervous. Do you have any tips for me before anything? If I can be quite honest, she did give me a few tips. She also gave me some of the questions he was going to ask. And she was like, listen, this is just between us. Okay. Listen, I was like, okay, I didn't even ask, but okay, cool. Thanks. So she gave me some of the questions. I started going over them. I was freaking out. I freak out about everything. Like, even if I know I've got something in the bag, I'm still going to freak out because that's just me. But, so we had the interview, and it seemingly went well, and it was actually kind of entertaining. They asked like a couple icebreaker questions, and we got into the nitty gritty. And looking back, I can actually say I enjoyed the interview. How does that even work? I don't know, but I did. So the interview finished, and didn't hear anything for a little while. It was a couple weeks. I didn't really want to ask or anything like, hey, what's going on? Because I didn't want to seem like desperate or whatever. But it eventually did come out, I think like maybe a couple weeks later, and it was one nurse, and seemingly they hired 2 people for the position. I didn't know that. I thought it was only 1 interview, but they hired 2 people, 1 customer service and 1 clinical. What we didn't know is that 2 of the supervisors were stepping down. One of them went to another stayed in the same company, just went to a different area. Another one said they were gonna step down, but the second supervisor, she just wasn't working with us anymore. So one moved to a different part of the company and the other one just was gone. That's 2 supervisors gone since we had this new director, okay? Red flag, red flag. We had a meeting that day and they were like, oh, we're gonna tell everyone, we're gonna talk to everyone and kind of tell them what happened with the interview. So they talked to every single person and then they were like, oh, so in my interview, it was my supervisor and my director. And they were like, oh, you know, you were so close, but so-and-so got the position. And, you know, only because they've got that supervisor experience, you know, it would be better for them. I totally understood. Was I hurting? Was I choked up a little bit? Yeah, girl, G's cry too. So yeah, I was like, oh, it's okay. I totally understand. And my partner was actually watching me as this happened. And she was like, I could not tell that you were even affected. Girly pop, I definitely was affected. But, you know, you got to keep it moving, right? There's nothing I can do. What am I going to do? Oh my God, please, why not me? You know, I didn't get it and that's okay. I was like, okay, whatever. And for some freaking reason, the internet went, like literally it was going nuts. And I'm like, what's happening? Like, that is so weird. So I finally got connected and my director was gone. And so I'm just like, what is happening? Like, did you just like fake a tech issue so you can get up out of here? Like, seriously, because my supervisor, she was like, oh, he had to go. He just wanted to let everyone know before he went into his meeting really quick. Sir, it's only been like 30 seconds to a minute and I came back. You didn't really have to leave. What's going on? Suspicious. But anyway, so I was like, okay, whatever, cool. She's like, you have any questions? No. And also in the meeting, they were like, but we think we want to get you to that team lead level. You won't be a supervisor, but you'll still be under your current supervisor, but you can be like our team lead. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, okay, that's fine. Whatever. I kind of was just like, whatever. I just want to hurry up and get out of here. So after that, it was a little weird between me and my supervisor for some reason. Like, I don't know. I felt like she was like, like I let her down. You didn't let me down, girl. Like, I understand. It was just a weird dynamic from then on. It was like an unspoken thing, but I still love her, like to this day. Like, she's awesome. But it just got a little weirder and I felt like maybe she thought she let me down, and I really pray that she does not have that weight on her heart, because girl, you did what you could. Like, honestly, she tried to get my Sundays off. She would always like try to say, I'm rooting for you to get your Sundays off, because, you know, I like to go to church, and yeah, that didn't happen either, but that's another story. So what happens is, of course, I didn't get it, and that's okay. So we move on. My supervisor, I feel it kind of getting weird. And I'm like, I feel like she's going to leave eventually. And I think I message her one day and it takes her forever to respond. And then she's like, oh no, or something like that, whatever. So maybe a month or so later, we find out she's moving into a different department of the company. Same company, different department. Now, mind you, there was 4 supervisors in total. 1, 2, 3 of them are now gone. Okay, 1 of them has left the company and 2 of them have went to different departments. And they were buddy. Like, they were buddy. So they're both gone. There's only 1 supervisor that is still there that started when I was there. Then remember, we switched out our director, right? So then I'm like, oh, you're leaving. Yeah, I knew it. And she's like, I was kind of scared because I'm like, what's going on? Like, how do people know? Because I guess other people were asking her too. And she's like, I don't understand. Like, oh my gosh, I was so nervous. Like, what's going on? And I'm like, yeah, we kind of knew, right? I felt her energy kind of shifting away from the job. I don't know how to explain it, but I just felt it. And that's why I asked her. I don't know why anyone else asked, but I did talk to a couple people on the phone and they're like, I think he's gonna leave too, because I mentioned it. I was like, I don't know, she's been acting kind of, you know, whatever. So I guess other people kind of had a feeling she was leaving too. So I talked on the phone to a couple of my team members. Somehow the director got brought up and our supervisor's leaving. And that's when they mentioned the fact that during, I guess they applied. They didn't really tell you who applied for the supervisor interview, so you have no idea who applied. And so I was talking to one of the individuals that I worked with, and they were like, yeah, they let me know that they'll just have me go up to team lead. They'll titrate me slowly up to team lead, and then we'll go from there and then just kind of build me up to the supervisor they need. I talked to someone else and they said the exact same thing. So this was just something that they were saying, you know, corporate lingo, vernacular, whatever. That's what you're supposed to say to smooth over the hell no, right? Whatever. It had me distraught, but it made me like, okay, so I'm not the only one, I guess. So honestly, I was nervous because my supervisor gone, right? The supervisor that got the position, now my supervisor, right? Okay, let me tell you how God works, okay? She was the most amazing supervisor I have ever had. Like, and I mean this. She was so sweet. Oh my gosh, even thinking about her now, my freaking heart. And I just understand why I didn't get the position. Like, don't make me get emotional because I can do it. I can do it to you real quick, okay? And this was just virtual, right? This was remote. So it's harder to build those relationships when you are not in person. I mean, this lady was so beautiful to me, like a beautiful spirit. And she never really had anything for me when we even did our ride along, which was when she listened to all of my calls while I'm taking my calls and triaging. She's listening and giving her pointers. She had nothing to give me. She gave me my praises. She told me how good I was. I mean, she truly believed in me, like, and I truly mean that in every way possible. I was even apprehensive about bringing up the fact that, hey, I kind of want to shift into this new department. Go for it. Like, she was like, oh my gosh, I would never want to keep you here. She's like, I mean, I love you, but I would never want to stop you. One day you're going to be my boss. And it was just like a full circle moment, just being under her, seeing how she works. I can't say enough good things about her. I literally can't. So in that time, I let her know that I wanted to move into our QA position, our quality position. And she was like, of course, they definitely need people. Go ahead and do it. And that's when she said the boss comment. And I applied for the position, but I wasn't hearing anything back. So I let her know, and she was like, because even before, she was like, hey, if anything, let me know and I'll reach out and see what's going on. And so I let her know I wasn't able to get anything, and she reached out, tried to figure out what was going on, and found out, hey, you need this certification. I was like, okay, I'll just get it. It's gonna take me some time, but I'll get it eventually, right? So I was kind of like slowing up on that. I was like, I'll get to it eventually. And that time that she was also my supervisor, and she wasn't my supervisor for too long before I left the company. About 3 to 4 months, if that, she was my supervisor. She also got me my Sundays off. It started off half of my Sundays, and she was like, I'm gonna keep working for you. And then she got me my whole Sundays off. And I'm just like, are you serious? I didn't even get that with my first supervisor. She was awesome, and no fault on her. But she advocated, this new supervisor advocated for me and did everything she could to help me get my Sundays off. That was new to me too, right? I didn't get the position and the QA position. So I'm freaking out, but I'm like, what am I gonna do? I need more money. I'm just stressed. Like, I get stressed quick. Like, fine, someone can see a certain amount in their account and not freak out. I don't care. Like, if I even spend $50, I look at my account and it's $50 lower, I freak out. So I'm very big on stability, financial stability, mental stability, physical, all that. So I'm getting it together, y'all. You know what I'm saying? So my boss, I get off track a little bit. Y'all gotta stay with me. It's good. So that QA position seeming like it wasn't working out for me, all right? So what I decided to do was I just went on Indeed and applied to a couple jobs. Like, I'll eventually get out of here, saying, I'm going to get up out of here eventually. Right? So one day I wake up, I'm not sure if it was my off day or what, but this was after the QA position. I found all of the classes that I needed to take for my certifications. I even started delving into new things because I'm like, okay, I'm going to need this. I'm going to need this. I'm just like, all right, I'm just going to get my credentials up. Forget it. And went into my notes and just copy and pasted all the websites that I needed for my credentialing. And I get a message, right? I get a message, and it's a recruiter from a company. And he's like, hey, I saw your resume on Indeed. Would you be interested in this clinical intake position? Okay. So I don't work super at the job that I was currently at. I wasn't working super close with intake, but I knew about intake. And I had a buddy at that job whose girlfriend worked in intake. And I was like, you know what? I would love to actually go over there, but I don't know how they work over there, if they're hiring, any of that, right? He was like, oh yeah, I'll have her let you know. And then I think he did text me like, hey, I think they're hiring. My girlfriend said they're hiring, whatever. So I'm like, I don't know what this is, but okay, whatever. I'm looking for it on Indeed. Like, did I apply for this? Like, what's going on? Whatever. Nothing too crazy. I'm like, what the heck? So I think we set up a call either that same day or the next day. We get on the phone and we start talking, and the recruiter's like, oh yeah, I see that on your resume you work for such and such. I used to work there. Yeah, it's been about a year. They started naming people they knew, and I was like, oh my God, yeah, right. And it's an amazing conversation. Me and this recruiter, I mean, we're just going and talking about, he's talking about their insurance benefits. He's like selling this to me. Like, he's selling it to me. Like, I'm like, oh, cool. It's all sounding great. And they're like, oh, what are you asking as far as pay? And I'm like, what's your pay range? Starting was already significantly higher than what I'm making now. So I was like, starting? Well, that's already a come up, even if you give me the starting, right? But whatever, I'm playing it cool. You know, you can't be doing all that. You can't be telling them everything. So I'm just like, okay, cool. Awesome. And it was this number to this number, right? So I'm like, all right, cool. They're like, okay, do you want to interview? You know, I get anxious. Woo! That interview word. Okay, cool. It's in person? Oh, cooler, right? They tell me the address. Put it in my phone. That's only 10 minutes away. Because, I'm a remote girly, you know what I'm saying? I don't like doing all the travel. I'm like, that's only 10? Like, legit only 10 minutes away? Like, literally? God, are you doing something in there, right? So I'm like, okay, I'll just show up to the interview and whatever. Show up to the interview. The customer service rep in front is literally doing what I do at my job now. So I'm like, okay, she's answering the customer service calls. I answer the clinical and the customer service. This kind of seems like what I do. Interesting. We go, they're doing their meeting, so it takes a while. I eventually meet the administrator, and this is of the job that I'm interviewing for. I meet the administrator. She's awesome. She's sweet. We're talking. And at one point, I almost freaking started crying. I've never done that in an interview. And it just felt so surreal. And she was like, this just feels like right. Like, I have an interview tomorrow, and I just want to offer you the position. Like, I don't even want the interview tomorrow. And she's like, I go off of my gut, and this just feels right. And it felt so right for me. It just felt so weirdly, like, it felt so weird, but like in a good way. And she's like, no, this isn't a remote position. Are you okay with that? I was like, I'm totally fine with that. I want to get dressed. I want to do my makeup. I want to do my hair. I want to be cute. And she brought in one of the girls I'd be working with, and we talked, and it was nice, right? That same day, I went home. Before I even left the interview, she's like, I'll be calling you today. I'll be calling you. And I was like, okay, great. Well, she walked me around and everything, showed me HR, literally showed me everyone. And the HR lady was like, this is a good sign, because, and she's like, it should be, or whatever. So anyway, she said she'd call me today. I was freaking out when I got home. I'm always freaking out, you know what I'm saying? She called me. She's like, it's yours if you want it. Like, have you had time to think about it? Like, please let me know if you need time. I was like, I don't need any time. Yes. Girl. she asked me what I'd be asking for. Okay, I lowballed just a little bit. When she called me, she said, we can offer you the, so it was pay range from this to this. She offered me the biggest number, okay? I was like, oh, you're serious? Oh gosh, oh no, right? So I was like, okay, oh my God, yes. And so I started the process, start date and everything. And here we are, okay? And I just finished my first week, okay? I gave my notice so freaking quick. As soon as I got that offer letter, notice was given, girl. My supervisor was so sad. She's like, I do not accept your resignation. And my director was like, oh, sorry to hear. Why are you leaving? What can we do to, get better? And I let them know what they can do to get better. Didn't get a response after that from the director, but definitely got one from the supervisor. And during our last one-on-one meeting, she's like, honestly, that was great. The advice you gave, like, that's what we need. That's what we need. Like, thank you for telling them. And she asked me to sing for her for my last day. And I did. And she was crying and she started to cry. And I was like, stop, because you're going to make me cry. But she was like, oh my gosh, your voice is so beautiful. I don't share it with a lot of people. So if I do share it with you, then it's for a reason. I care about you. Okay. And she asked, and I couldn't say no to her. Like, she's just, she's so awesome. And so yeah, that's what happened. Okay. So my first week has been amazing. I am learning so much. And tomorrow is Monday. Y'all, I'm so ready to just get to it. I don't like the training sitch, okay? I like to hurry up with my training and then get right into work because I'm a hyper-focused person. When it's time for me to work, girly, I'm about to get to work, okay? So honestly, that's just what I'm ready to do. It's a very diverse group of women. They are awesome. All of them, I have not encountered any issues from any of them. Now, it's so much estrogen. It's a lot of women, okay? Right? But they all work together. It's a fun environment. The place is huge, okay? I can't say enough good things about this place, okay? And I definitely don't see the micromanaging. I don't see it. I see hard work. I see understanding. When I'm in there, they have meetings daily. In those meetings, I have seen exactly who they are. They're a no nonsense place, but they are, it's a fun environment. I feel like I'm finally where I want to be. I'm around a group of nurses, a group of clinicians. We've got physical therapists. We've got speech pathologists. We've got a myriad of nurses. And I feel like I'm right where I need to be. Okay. So God did everything for a reason. He knew what he was doing. He ordered all of the steps. He orders all of my steps. And I just continue to invite him into my heart and my life. And I encourage you to do the exact same, because here I was feeling empty, feeling like I was never going to get anywhere. But I got complacent. I honestly said, you know what? This job is for me. Until God, I'm telling you, oh my gosh, even thinking about it, I said, until God gives me a job, I literally said that. I said, God will tell me what I need to do. God will place it in, oh my gosh, I said, God will place it in my heart. God will put it right in my face what he wants me to do. I was applying for these healthcare agencies, about to go back into the field. And God said, you know what? I have something perfect for you. You are now a clinical intake coordinator. And when I tell y'all that clinical intake coordinator pay is doing that clinical intake coordinator thing, okay? I'm telling you, y'all, the environment is beautiful. The women, they are so awesome, and they're funny, and they're not uptight. They're not stuck up. And it ranges from race, color, age, and they're all funny. I mean, all of them. They've all said some off the wall wonky stuff. They've got game days, potlucks. From what I've seen, we're all good. So I've already had them offer me lunch like every day of my training, and it was 2 days in a row. And then on the third day, I had to cut it off. I was like, no, like I'm okay, like please. And they were just like, no one has ever denied this, and I'm just like, I just don't, like I'm okay. I don't want all that extra sodium every day anyway. And I'm still watching my weight. Don't even play with me. Like, stop. New jobbing is stopping nothing, period. But yeah, I've got my own office, or not my own office. I have my own desk. Already got some things bought for me, like my pink items, because pink's my favorite color. Got to. And we're called the Intake Barbies. I'm telling you, I'm excited, okay? Get excited. Like, I'm so serious, and I'm just thankful to God. So just know that God sees all of your issues. He can work all of your problems out. He's in the back working and mixing and working, and you think everything is bad. And I felt so down. I felt like I was forgotten about. No one cares about me. But you have to stop and remember, do you care about yourself? Do you care about yourself? I have God on my side. I have me, and I care about me. And I have my amazing partner who cares about me. And I have my kitty cat. And honestly, that's really all I need, okay? You know what I'm saying? Just remain content knowing that God will provide. Every time I give my cares and my worries to him, he works it out. And I'm just learning to continue to do that because honestly, y'all, I couldn't ask for a better job. And that's just me being honest. I couldn't ask for a better position. I look so cute every day when I go to work. And if you don't want to look so cute, you can walk in there with scrubs. I mean, if you look at the group, they wear like literally anything, not provocative or anything bad, but they can come in there comfortable if they want to wear their sweatshirt and their sweatpants or something, because we're going to be in the branch all day. Honestly, y'all, I can keep on going about how amazing this job is, but I'm just gonna stop right there, y'all, because I'll have y'all on here all day. Just know that if God can work for me, he can work for you. Continue to keep him first. He will provide each and every single freaking time. Okay, y'all? So y'all, that is really all I have for y'all today. I hope that you guys enjoyed this inspirational little story time, or just like a little life update on what I've been doing, how God has been working for me. And God has been doing many other things that I'm just not going to talk about in this video. If you are interested in this video, or if you feel like this is something that you would want to see, then let me know. I just did this one because it's a really big life update for me personally. And this is my platform and I want to share it on here. So y'all, that's going to be the end of this video. Please be sure to check out my girl, Tita Greatest. Her channel will be linked below. She's also got a reaction channel that is blowing up fire bajire, and it will also be linked below. So please be sure to check that out. Remember, y'all, keep God first. Keep him first. And you are the CEO of your life. Hire, fire, and promote accordingly. And y'all stay tuned for more. Bye.